Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
Hello, everybody. Are we waiting on any more people? It looks like we have one, two, three, four so far in the group.
Yeah, I think Jervy said she was in the lobby trying to get in. I
Oh,
don't know if you see
um,
her.
I do not. Maybe she can try again. I did not see her try. Let me see.
Yeah, I think she's the only one left.
Let me double check. Okay, there it is. Okay, that's weird. One moment.
Yeah, she's in now. I think we are good to go.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
All right. How's everyone doing today?
Oh, not
Feeling
too
good.
bad.
Nice.
Good.
Okay.
How are
What's
Uh,
you?
up?
say it again. Sorry. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing really
Good.
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 Yep. What I was gonna say. So yeah, that link, if you guys want to double check that video link, should be working. I tried a couple of times. I viewed it from another browser and it was working, so not sure why it's not working. I made a new link actually for that one. Or the video link, I mean. Let me just put in the chat.
Yeah, the first class video was working.
Okay.
I think the second link, it seemed like a character or two was missing.
Okay.
So it wasn't an active link.
Okay. How about now? The link that I just sent.
Let me see. You added that to the OneNotes?
Yeah, I just redid it and just made a brand new link for both of them. They're both under the same link.
Yeah, for some reason,
It's asking for a user ID or like you have to sign in for it or something.
Interesting. Yeah, because mine does not show anything. Let me see. I'll just probably just add all your emails on there. Yeah, because this what I'm using right now, literally, like I'm not logged in, but it's showing me I can look at it for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on. It's just really weird.
if you I don't mind sharing my screen so you could see what I'm seeing.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
1 second. How do you do this? Oh, I think you have to enable us to share, but
All right, there it is. I just did that right now.
Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Is it supposed to be in here?
Let me just
that's like
update it.
mine too.
Yep. You can refresh the page. I just added the hyperlink if you want to just click on it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's going to be part of the class notes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's weird how it's asking you because I just use it on a Tor browser and my Tor browser doesn't let me log in at all.
Okay.
Okay. I think I'll just send it to the email list that you guys signed up with and I'll just do it that way because it's just getting a little frustrating. I even signed up for like a business one. That's supposed to be making it easier, but it's still complicated. Not complicated, but there's still issues going on with it. I have a support ticket open. So as soon as that gets fixed, I'll update you guys. I'm not sure why it's so complicated just to share a video. you
Yeah,
know,
no problem.
yeah,
No,
because
but mine works though.
oh, yours works.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure. Try a different browser.
Yeah, I think for mine, so I just need to like log into my Windows. I just can't remember
Yeah. I think you
my
need to.
password.
Okay. Yeah, because I put on there for everybody, like it's universal access at that point. It was at the point that you know what, it's not working for anyone. Let's just give everyone access for the video at the moment. So yeah, that's the reason I did it. All right, well, let's go over. Did you guys see the assignment that I had up for yesterday? Or not yesterday, but last week?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Was there any issues with the assignments at all?
Not issues, but I did get stuck. I saw the light, but then the last two questions, it kind of like bumped me down.
Okay.
And I think that's only because I know we went over the ACLs at the end of class, but because of the length of class, maybe I wasn't able to like grasp exactly how everything works with ACLs. So once we got to that point of like trying to change the owner, I was stuck with that transaction.
Okay, so let's see. So the last two questions were attempt to delete one of the files within the change mod practice. That one. Let me share my screen. Okay. So for this one, you got to create a user, but I will do the user creation and all that group stuff today. So this is kind of like this goes in tandem with like what we're gonna learn today. So we can
Okay.
probably go over it at the end, just so you can see. So this one, you just have to you had to create a user. That's it. And it was just telling you that, so that way, like you're supposed to technically this one you're supposed to fail it. Because you're not supposed to delete anybody's else if the sticky bit is on. Let's say if Tom created the file and you logged in as Sally, and you know, Sally should not be able to delete Tom's file. So for this
So
one, yep.
sorry. So I was trying to figure out that was the thought process. So I did create my Tom because I was working out of my own server.
Okay.
So I created Tom, but then was I supposed to log into Tom's account and then try to find that folder?
Okay. So technically you were supposed to so you're supposed to create the file as one user, and then enable that sticky bit, let's say, or if you have the proper
Yes.
permissions, yeah, enable the sticky bit, and then log in as somebody else, go back to the same directory and try to delete it.
Switch user.
Yes,
Because
pretty
I
much.
enabled the sticky bit. So I was supposed to switch user, go to Tom, which is my second user.
Yeah.
And then I would still be able to navigate to that directory you're saying? That's capable, you're capable of doing that?
If the permissions are set, I mean, if you follow the directions, there shouldn't be anything to do with like changing out the actual like default permissions for the folder. So you should be able to go in that folder and try to delete the other person's file. And you shouldn't be able to do that if the sticky bit was set on that directory. Yeah,
Okay.
that was the only thing on that one.
Okay.
And it says verify the deletion is denied. Do the sticky bit. Well, we can do this at the end.
Okay.
Just that one little, just like the last bit. I can set
It's just
everything up.
that, yeah.
Yep, and we can just go through that bit. So you can see how it's executed. All right.
And Prof, we have, I think, Vanessa trying to log in. So if you see anybody behind the scene,
I'll try Vanessa. Tell her to try again because it flashes on my screen, and then I think she exited. I think when she went back on, like sometimes, you know, like you're on the lobby, like this isn't working, and then you exit out, and then you try again.
okay.
So I'm watching the screen now. So yeah, hopefully she pops up. Yeah, I think my camera is on low charge because I use a I use a mirrorless Sony camera. I don't use my laptop because my laptop is like my docking station. It probably has my other monitors connected to it. So yeah. All right, don't see Vanessa. We go to day 4. Start getting this started. If you want, I think how do I invite Vanessa? You can send this to Vanessa, I guess. This should be, if she clicks on it, it should let her in. Well, never mind. She still needs a passcode. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'll just wait for her or try to see if she can try to come in the lobby again.
Yeah, I think she's not there now.
No, I do not see her. Because usually I'll say like someone wants to join the meeting, and then it'll be like accept on the options.
No, we could just go. We could keep going. Yeah.
Okay. All right. If she, tell her to text you as soon as she's in the lobby. So if she is in the lobby, I can try to look at the options and just add her in. If that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And before we start, should we clear
Yes.
out everything?
Yeah, I'll just clear everything in your Tom directory because we're just using Tom for now.
Okay.
Yep. We might have to escalate some privileges for some of the things we might be doing, just because to create users and stuff like that. Let me see if there's a wheel group. Let me just check something real quick because I think the wheel group might have some of the permissions. So let's see. I know don't have the thing. Let's try. Okay. All right. So yeah. So today, let me go over the syllabus. So we're going to be going over the accounts and groups, understanding the etc password group and etc shadow files, creating, modifying, and deleting user accounts, understanding user UIDs and the group IDs. I'm pretty sure you guys pretty much have a good understanding of those, but we'll still go over it. And then we're going to go over some user management commands, some group management commands. And by the way, it's in the day 4 section if you guys want to follow along or look up the stuff that we're going to look at. And then we're going to look at password management in Linux. Some of it's a little advanced just with the PAM stuff, but we'll still go over it, you know, for good sake. And then we'll understand this one really quick. And then we'll go over some more topics like creating and managing user home directories, understanding Linux permissions. I already put that on there, but we already covered that. We also have setting up managing sudo access. So depending if we have time, those will be the last items I want to go over, just because I want to go over the main things, which are creating the user accounts and creating the group accounts and how to manage those and modify those. And then some best practices for user and group management in Linux. So we'll go over those also. These are just like more of a bonus. Put that on there. All right, cool. So yeah, we might just have to use some elevated privileges, but let's see if we can do it because I think there might be another step we might have to take. But let's try anyways and see if we can manage to do that. So the first thing we want to talk about, there's 2 commands that we can go over. There's one called user add, and then there's one called add user. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of those commands before. Is anyone familiar with those commands?
Yeah, I know you went over user add, the
Yeah.
sudo stuff in the first class,
Yes.
but the
So
other one, add user, no.
Oh, okay. So there's 2 of them. So the user add is like a low level command for creating accounts, and then add user is a higher level, so it's a lot more easier. It's a lot more friendly to use, and it pretty much automatically sets up like their home folder and all that kind of stuff. Versus with user add, you have to be a little bit more specific. So you have to give it a little bit more options. If you use add user, it pretty much sets all the like inputs, like the account details, like the like it asks you for like the password, default shell, full name. It's a little bit more interactive, so I can just show you a little preview. So if I do add user, and let's say, I think I already have a lot of users on this. A username Leo. His name is Leo, right? So we'll do add user Leo. So let me do sudo. So let me just give me 1 second. Put this on silent. Sorry about that. Perfect.
Do you see anybody in the lobby?
Checking now. Do not see anyone, but let me just check again. There it is. I see Vanessa. There it is. I just added her. All right, let me just add back the share screen. Vanessa's here now, looks like. Let's see, Vanessa.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's there.
Okay, she's here. Cool. All right. Let me share my screen again. Sorry about that. Am I still sharing the same screen, you guys? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Okay, cool. Okay, let me double check if it worked. That's weird. It's not showing me anything. Maybe it's not letting me do it. It looks like Leo's in there. Interesting. Okay, so usually the add user command is supposed to give you a little bit more like prompts. Like it'll give you a prompt like for password. Like it'll be like, hey, set the new password for the new user account, and then it'll ask like series of questions, like account details, default values, and things like that. I'm not sure why it's not working. I'm not sure. Let me just try to see if I can go to my root user and try that again. But this is how this script, or not the script, but this like binary or this command is supposed to work. So I can just try it on my root folder, see if it makes a difference. It just usually it should be asking for those details. So let's add a username John Doe. Okay, it doesn't ask for nothing. So let's try add user. User add is the one that we used last time. Okay. I'll look into that. It's kind of weird. And then last time when we had the issue with the access control list, the FACL, I did some research on it, and it was saying some distributions or like some versions of it has some issues with that particular command. Because remember we were going over that last time, you guys, the set FACL, we're having issues like deleting it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So I looked it up. It said something to do with like some of the binaries or some of the kernel versions. It's like that options it doesn't work correctly. So you can always use a -B, and this will actually reset the permissions. So you wouldn't be able to delete certain permissions. Let's say like if you have John with special access to a folder, you won't be able to like adjust it. So you can use a -B, and this will just delete the configuration you have for that specific directory for that folder, and you'll just reset your control. So what you can do is always you can back up your file with the set FACL command, which is so one of them you can. So as you see here, we have a set FACL and it's like -- restore file. So what you can do is back it up, and then you can just change the permissions, and then you can use that file to re-enable it, or you can use a -B, as you can see here. -B will remove all your entries. And if you backed it up, it would have to be, you would have to, I think, cat it. Yeah, so the way you will do it, let me show you. So the way you would have to do it is pretty much do this. So you would get FACL on etc, for example, and then all you would have to do is just redirect that to a file called acl.backup, well, whatever you want to call it. Let's say backup.acl. And then when you do that, all you would have to do is do set FACL and then restore file. I'm gonna copy and paste this. Restore file. So you'll put the name of the file, which the file will be backup.acl. And then you just do the path of where you want this to be enabled. So I'm gonna copy this so I can put this in our folder. I'll put it on day 3. I'll put it on the top real quick. Yep, I just put that in our folder. So you pretty much will do this as you see this. So let's say if I did let's set FACL, right? So let's use the set FACL command, and we will let's modify it, and then we can add some permissions to it. Let's see what we can add to this one. Let me see. I have Tom. 1 second. Where's the screen at? All right, so we're gonna do user Tom, and then let's add Tom rewrite and execute. And for this rewrite and execute, we'll do it on etc, right? So when we do that, we can do the, let me just clear my screen, get fackle on etc. As you can see here, Tom has the permissions, right? Everyone can see that. So let's say if you ran -b, actually, before we do this, let's back it up. So I just backed it up. So we're all good now. And I'm going to do get fackle so we can see it. So we can see here's Tom. I just backed up this file. Now we're going to delete it. Okay, so let's see the options here really quick. So it'll be set fackle, not get fackle. That's my bad. Okay, so it should be deleted. Now when I run get fackle, we should see that it's deleted, right? So everyone can see that it's deleted. So since I backed up my file, I can just I can redo it. And I just to let you know, if you did wanted to edit it, and like let's say you had like a lot of permissions on there, you can just edit it. Like let's say if I did use a text editor. So you see how we have Tom here, like, or did I back up Tom? I swear I just did. Oh, there it is, user Tom. So you see here how you want to change it. You can also like just, I mean, you don't really have to do this. This takes longer, but let's say you had a list of permissions that you didn't want to delete. So you can back up the file and you can just delete the user you don't want. Let's say if I wanted to add Sally, I can add Sally and I can add read and write for her. So I can just edit this file like how I want it to edit it. And then all I have to do is just back it up and then just use this command, which I posted in the day 3 of the homework, which was, where was it? I can just type it all over again if I need to. Okay, I guess I'll type it. All right.
And I know you just used the VI stuff. Are we gonna go over that? Because we never did in terms of the VI editor.
Yeah, we can use Nano for now, but yeah, we'll go
Okay.
over those. Those will have a lot of keys and stuff. I just want to do one class on that because there's a lot of things to go over on that one. A lot of like
Okay.
shortcuts and stuff. But we can use Nano. Nano's very easy. It's a lot more intuitive to use. So I'll just use Nano for this purpose. So what we can do, we already saw that that we edited the backup ACL file. So just to go back, all we did is we added an access control list for the etc file, which we added Tom, we added some rewrite execute. The issue that we were having is that we couldn't delete the actual configuration. And if you use -b, it deletes everything. You could do that if you have like 1 user or 2 users, you don't mind redoing it. But the reason why we're backing it up is like, what if you have a lot of extra stuff in there and you don't want to forget it? Because if you delete everything, you lose all that information. So what you can do is back up that file. You can edit it and like actually do what you want, and then you can delete the current access control list and then just back it up right afterwards. So this is what we're doing now. We're doing the backup version of it, which we already edited the file. As we saw, we added Sally. So instead of like adding Tom, we added Sally because we wanted to restore from file. So we're going to do restore, and then we just add the name of the file, which is backup .acl. And then we want to do it on the etc directory. Let's see. So it should be under set fackle, and then -- restore, and then it says no file / directory. Let me check real quick. I don't have that backup. Why do I have it? So I do have it. I have the set fackle file directory. That doesn't make any sense. Let me double check the syntax. Let me add a -v to get some more information. All right. Interesting. Okay. So let's try to see if I can get the fackle on there, see if it made any difference. I use a -v to get some more info on this. Let's do /etc. Okay, don't see, file etc, owner root, group root, and then let me double check the man pages for this, because usually you just use your backup file. As you can see here, it says -- restore file on this, but it's not asking for a directory. Oh, I'm sorry, I feel like an idiot. The information's already on there. You don't have to add that .etc because it's already in the actual file. Interesting. So it says here. Oh, okay. So let me just edit this because so when you saved it, you saw, you guys, that it said that it removes the slash from it. So it removed like the /. So I think I'm gonna have to edit this file. So let's go up to here. So it says a file here. I'm gonna have to add like a little /, and then try again. As you can see now, it worked. So what happens is that when you when I did that file where like I redirected like the actual data, it removes like the / and like the leading slashes. So I had to re-add it into the backup.acl. As you can see here, if you see this little thing, let me just copy and paste it. So as you saw when I did that command right here, right, we had this is what popped up. It said get fackle removing leading / from absolute name paths. So that's what it did. So that's the reason why when I was running the command, it wasn't working. So let me just exit out. And then we can get the fackle on the etc directory. As you can see now, there's Sally with rewrite, and the there's no permission on that execute. Does that make any sense at all? Like with the get fackle, since there's some bugs, some issue with that actual command, that you cannot delete it. I think it was, I forgot which one I used, -x. I think it was -x, and I tried to remove it and it wasn't working. I looked at the source code, didn't see any issues. So I think there's some just issue going on right now with that deletion one. So that's why we're doing it this way. We're substituting it with deleting the whole file, but before we delete it, we back it up, adjust what we need to adjust, and then we back it up again.
All right, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I understand the concept, but I think it was just still a lot for me to take in.
Okay.
Only because I'm still like stuck on
The bottom
the get fackle and everything. I was following up until the point of like adding the user, but this part is a bit much.
All right, I'll make it easy. So when we do the get fackle on this this directory right here, right? We're just getting this information right here. As we can see, this is the information, right? This is telling you what file it is, which is the etc file that we're changing. And what we're doing, we're just giving Sally special permissions on this actual folder. So let's say if no one had permissions and we added Sally here, that means now Sally will have rewrite permissions, unless she's the owner of the file or she's part of the group that has permissions on this file. So we did. Yes.
Did you create Sally, or Sally was always there?
I created Sally. Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I created her. I just created her on my account, like another user. So all we did, yep. So all we did was just copy and paste. Okay. So the reason we're doing this, because technically speaking, I can just do the set fackle command and use a -b, and this will delete everything. So if I do this, it deletes everything. So now we know that the -b deletes everything, and the get fackle just gives you what permissions are set on there, right? But since we deleted it, right, that's fine, because if we have one user, we can delete it. The only reason we would back up this file is if we have a lot of like different permissions from different groups, and and it's good to back it up, because what if it gets reset or some weird thing happens? You always want to back up the actual like original permission files on there. So the reason we did it this way is because if you delete everything, you're going to mess up some configuration, or like whatever groups had access or users have special access. We can just back this up, and this is what we did doing this thing when we use this command right here. Where was it? When you use this command, if you do echo, actually, I'm sorry, if you do the get fackle, and then you just redirect the information, or the information coming from the actual file itself. Instead of redirecting it to the screen, we just give it to a file, which was backup.acl. If we do this, we're just sending this information into this file. This is just a text file, and we're just sending the information here. And the reason why we edit it is because, for instance, if you had a lot of permissions on there and you don't want to delete everything and then re-add everything one by one, which will take a long time, you can just back up the file. Sorry. You can just back up the file and then just edit the lines that you want to. That's pretty much what we're doing. So we're just adding the lines that we want to and just doing what we want with it pretty much. That's all we're doing is just modifying the file. And then when we are restoring it, you're just restoring this text. That's all you're doing. You're just restoring this text. So you're backing up this text, you're editing what you need to edit, and then you're just restoring it back to its original configuration or to a new configuration that you want. Because you could do it manually, like we did, like, set fackle, and then we kept adding users. But if you have a lot of users, it will just take longer. So that's the reason you do it this way.
Okay.
Yep. All right, so now we're going to talk about the user add command. I'm not sure why that add user is not working. It's the way it should, but not sure if it's just I have a lot of configurations on this server, so I'm not sure why it's not showing. But usually add user. You guys could try it on yours if you want for right now. So we can try to add a test user. So if everyone wants to add a test user, I'll just wait for everyone. So we'll just go along with everything, and we'll use the add user command.
Okay.
When everyone's ready, and just add test and see if anyone gets prompts, because it could just be my server or just my distribution, or just the actual
It says
Yep.
It says permission denied when I press enter.
Okay, just put sudo in front of it and then put your password in there.
So sudo and then the password.
Yeah, just put sudo and then put add user and then test, which would be the user that we're creating. His name will be test. Yes.
Okay, and then it said password. So that's the password for Tom. Okay.
See, nice. You see, mine doesn't show up. Mine doesn't show up. That's what it's supposed to ask you for. So add user, it's a lot easier to use.
So when I'm also in root, I did add a user test.
Yeah.
I don't know if it created it. I'm assuming it did.
It should. Yeah.
But then I did sudo, just following along with what you told Beth.
Yep.
And then now it's prompting me and telling me that a user already exists. Does it exist because I just did the add user?
Yep. You probably did it 2 times. Yeah. Possibly.
Okay, because I didn't get anything that alerted me like, hey, yes, it was added.
Yeah, usually it doesn't. It'll like you see mine. Let me try mine right now. Mine will be blank. Oh, test already, because I already I probably created this before, because I usually try some of these before on the class to make sure there's no bugs or anything.
Okay.
But yeah, it's supposed to ask you for these prompts, but it doesn't really matter because we can still adjust them with user modification. So now that everyone has added the user test, how you can check for it, you can use the ID command. So what the ID command is, it displays information about the current user and their group memberships. So that's all it does. If you run ID on its own, it'll give me the information about me. It'll tell me, it'll give you a little bit more detail. We don't want to look at this as SE Linux, so we don't want to, that doesn't really matter. So you type in ID for test, and make sure you do sudo if you don't have root privileges. But all it's telling you is giving you the user ID, the group ID, and what groups he's part of. He's only part of test, he or she. So, yep.
So mine said when I did the ID test, it said no user.
Yep. So you're gonna have to put sudo in the front of it because you don't have enough permissions to be able to view the command.
Prof, what was the starting command again?
Oh, user add. You can use user add or add user, either one. The reason I wanted everyone to use add user to see if you guys get a prompt, it's supposed to ask you for password and some other details to make it easier to add users.
So see, I'm getting permission denied when I do add user test.
Same here.
You got to put sudo first.
Sudo then add user.
Sudo. Yeah.
But Prof, when I did the sudo ID test, it said sudo password for Tom. When I put the password for Tom, then it said Tom is not in the sudoers file.
Yes. So
this incident will be reported.
Okay, that's fine. So basically what that's saying is that when you put that password in, Tom needs to have certain permissions in order to do it. So example, let's say Tom is a manager, right, of a place, and he's trying to approve something, which in this case, he's trying to approve some action that requires elevated privileges, but at that moment he doesn't have the permissions to do so. So all that means is that he doesn't have the proper permissions to do so. So you can just go to the root account and use the root account if you want for this part. You can just switch user, like type in su root and then put the password for the root account, and then you can do it from there. In order to fix that, you would have to add Tom to the sudoers file or add him to a group that has those permissions. But I just wait till everyone is ready to add the test and then to do the ID on the test.
Yeah, I'm good to go now.
Nice. All right. Is everyone else still working on it, or?
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
No problem.
When I
Take your
put
time.
Beth,
No worries.
yeah,
when you did the password for Tom, right? You go back to what, the root?
Nah, it says Tom is not in the sudoers file. The incident will be reported, and it took me back to Tom at the general, my main thing. But I was trying to go to su root, and it's asking me for the password, and I think that's where the problem. Password? I think that's what it might be.
You have to use the password that you use to log in when you first log into the server.
Right. Yeah, and that's the one I'm not remembering.
It's not
I think it was all 1, 2, 3, 4 for all of us.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
You got it?
Nope. I don't think I did my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
When you created your own server, you didn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I think I had changed it.
So every day when you log into your server, how do you log in?
It saved my thing, my password.
No, it doesn't save your password. How would you save your password?
You always have to answer.
When I'm coming into VM.
No, in VMware you log in, of course, with the username and password. But once you are in VMware and you select your server that you built,
So I go in with Tom. When I'm going in there, I go in with Tom. Yeah. So maybe I'll figure that later. All right, let's go ahead. All right.
So because of that, you can't do that add user test.
Yeah, because it's not allowing me to do the add user test. Because
now try clearing it. You can't get out of Tom.
I could go to a root, right?
Yeah, try to use the su and change it to root and see if you can try to remember the password. You can try. I'm sure there's no limit. You could try to like put different types of passwords in that you remember.
Su root. Yeah.
Yep, just su root, and then you just type in the password.
Check your caps lock too. Maybe you have it on.
1, 2, 3, 4. Unbelievable. I just can't remember.
That's fine. It makes sense. I mean, like if you're logging in with a regular user, you'll be able to access your server. But if you forgot the root password, you would have to reset it. It's not too hard. Depending on what distro you have, you can just break the boot cycle, and you should be able to edit some file. Depending, like if you did like a standard like installation, usually you can be able to change the password. Depending on what, I'm not sure what distribution you have, but it should be easy. Or if you want to do it the easy way, you can always reimage your. Or just start up another VM or copy or replicate it or however you have it set up. But yeah, so yep. And that's the reason why you can't do it, because like I said, Tom doesn't have the permissions, or is not in the suitors files, meaning that he doesn't have permissions for those commands. Like those commands that you're running, like ID and all that, like usually like you know, it's giving Tom permissions to do so. So like if I did ls-l on /bin/id, right? As you can see here. Yeah, so basically we can see here that the group people have read and execute. So if they're part of the group, they can do it. I'm not sure. Let me sure if they have any there's any git fact on this. Let me just double check this. Maybe it's part of another group. No. Let me see sbin. Okay, sbin doesn't exist. So let's try user. Trying different directories because sometimes there's more than one copy of the command, which I see there's 2 of them. Okay, cool. All right, never mind. So it just looks like Tom doesn't have the proper permissions then. Looks like in the suitors file, which the suitors file is right here, just for FYI. We'll do suitors. Actually, I think it's what was it? VI sudo. And then etc the suitors. I think it's sudo.conf or is it suitors? Yep, it is suitors. Sorry about the color, is really terrible, but okay. Actually, this doesn't really help that much. So yeah, he's not in this file. As you can see here in the wheel group. So if he's part of the wheel group, he's able to run all the commands and stuff like that. So that's so yeah. Once you get the password, check your suitors group. If you have a wheel command or if you have a wheel group, I'll put the commands in here on the actual day 4 for you on the top. So you can add it for the next class. I'll just leave it here for you. So so I'll put usermod -ag and then wheel and then user. All right. All right, I'll continue with the thing really quick. So you use ID to get some basic information for the user. To get a little bit more information, actually not Tom, it was test. So we're going to do ID on test. As we can see here, we get the user ID, the group ID, and the groups that is part of. And it says 1007. If you was part of more groups, you will see multiple groups with commas. So, and then if you use the finger command, this will give you more of a detailed information about it. I see finger is not installed, so forget it. If finger works for you, that's awesome. All that does is gives you more information about like its home directory, the last time it logged in, the shell that it uses, and things like that. So there's 2 directories that we want to talk about. So mainly we want to talk about the password directory and the shadow directory. And the way you can view them is as long as you have the correct permissions. Usually the etc password should be viewable. So a long time ago, a lot of like, there was like permissions, not permission, I'm sorry. There was a security loophole pretty much, not really a loophole, but like a security vulnerability where like on the etc password, like other users could look at other people's passwords. So they moved it to shadow, was the shadow file. And on that, the passwords are encrypted. So what I can show you if we use the cat command, if everyone types in etc password, and whenever they're ready, just let me know.
Ready.
Okay.
Ready.
Okay, so when we type this in, as you can see, test is on the bottom. It might be different for you depending on how it's and what number or what order or however they have it set up. So we want to look at the first fields. So if we look at the first field, this is to be the username right here. This will be the username. The second one, this field is an X, but this is usually where the password is inputted. So that's like the password field, but obviously it's not going to show you nothing because it's the password hash is actually in the shadow file instead.
Sorry, Prof. I was trying to take notes. You said which one is the user field?
So the first one is the user field.
Or the name, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me just let me make it look clean for you guys so I can just do it this way. You guys use this this pipe or this like it looks like a L, like a I. You guys can use this. It should be on top of the enter button. You guys can type this in and then type in grep -I and then type in test. and it will give you a cleaner output if you want to look for a specific user this way. So the first field here, you guys, will be for the user. So it'll give you information about like the user. The second is where the password is supposed to go, but obviously it's not going here. It actually goes to the etc shadow password, which we'll see, which it's encrypted. And then the third field is the user ID. And then the next field here, which is the fourth, which will be the group ID. And usually this is the primary group for the user account. And then the fifth one, it's additional user information. So like this is where you put a description for the account name. So like there's no description added, so that's why it's empty. But like you can add like a description to the account, and this is where that goes. And then over here is the home directory of where his home directory is located. And the last one is what shell he uses, because bash is the default, but there's other shells like a corn shell, Z shell. There's a lot of shells. And the one that most people use will be the bash shell. So if you did cat shell, actually, sorry, we're not supposed to be catting it. That's my bad. We're actually, that's what we're doing something else. So we're supposed to be echoing it. So if you echo the shell, you can see that right now, most of you guys should be using a bin /bin/shell. So all that means is what shell the user is using. And the next one we'll go to is the etc shadow. And let me just clear that up again like we did before with the Tom. I have two of them, Tomcat, so we'll forget that one. If you ever see this right here, the two little exclamation marks on the second field on the shadow file, it basically just means that the password has not been set. So that's what that means, that the password has not been set. And for the etc shadow file, it's pretty much a text file that contains sensitive information about the user accounts. And it includes the hash password, the password expiration dates. Each line represents a single user account and consists of 9 fields. And as we can see here, the first one is the name of the user. The second, let me make this bigger so it looks better. The second here, as we can see, this is the hash password. And then you're not going to see anything here because this is the hash password right here, up to here. And I think this denotes what kind of algorithm it is. There's different hashing algorithms, like different like passwords. Different types of password that it can be encrypted to. But we can talk about that a little bit later in the course when we go to more security stuff. So this is the hash password. And then over here, these fields that we can see, like this field right here, it will be the last password change, last time the password was changed. So don't mind this default value at the moment. So this one basically means it was done like years ago, which I know it's incorrect. The next field right here, this is the minimum password age. So this means like how much you have to wait in between password changes. So if you changed your password, you would have to wait 0 days to change it again. Or if you change your password and this is number 7, it will mean that you have to wait 7 days just to change your password again. And this is set by the system administrator. So this is the specific user, Tom, and what his minimum age is, which stands for how long do you have to wait to change your password again. So if you just changed it, you would have to wait 7 days, 0 days, 1 day, depending on what you put on there. And then the next one is the maximum password age. So this is like the max time that you can have your password on. So this is like pretty much forever. But if you had it for like 6 months, after 6 months, it will ask you to change your password again. And then here 8, this is the password warning field. This will pretty much tell you how many days in advance it will tell you to change your password. So it'll tell you 8 days in advance to change your password. And then the last one is the expiration date. So this will tell you the expiration date of how many days the user account will be disabled. So if it's set to 0, that means that it will never expire. And that's it. And then the last one, there's another one, which the last one will pretty much be, actually, I'm sorry, let me go back. So the one after the 8 is actually the inactivity period. It tells you how long it can be inactive before it expires. And then the last one is the account expiration that we talked about, of how long when the account will be expired. So let's say they have a contract for a year, the thing or the account will be expired in 12 months. The other one is just the password inactivity, like how long they're inactive on the account. Let me just copy and paste some of the notes I have, and I'll put it on the actual actual thing too.
I was gonna ask if you could just copy this and dissect it and put the definitions next to it, because I shadowed into test, and obviously it doesn't have all of this content. So it was very hard for me to like take note of like which spaces mean what. So when you're done, can you shadow into test just to see?
Yeah, we'll do that. Okay.
Nana, are you on my computer or something? Cause Ski.
Yeah, I'm working on it for you.
Oh, okay. I thought I was crazy. I thought somebody was using my computer. Sorry about that, bro.
No problem. So on the test one, if you don't see this field, that means you don't have a password. Like you didn't set a password for it on your test user. So what do you see right now? 2 exclamation marks? Or do you see? Yeah. So if you want to fix that, just type in password and then test. And then just put his new password in. And then after you do that, you can clear your screen, and then you can cat it again, and now you should see a encrypted hash, what they call. And let me know when you see that.
One second, I think I messed up the password.
No, doesn't matter. I just put LOL. I mean, to be honest, just like because it's funny, because like you're just literally just it's not a like password just for fun.
Okay.
I'll try to make I try to make my things easy. Like I don't want to like work hard, especially for the test one.
And then shadow back into it, right?
Yes, do the cat etc shadow, and then if you want to use the pipe, which I think I'll go over that. Yeah, I'll go over the pipe today too. I think it'll be very easy to explain to you guys, because I know we were supposed to talk about that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks different now.
Yeah, so the reason why you saw the explanation marks is because the passwords isn't set, and the reason the other fields are empty is because there was no values added. Like when the user was made, we didn't add anything.
Okay.
So we can see there's a password, and then the last password change was, what does it say there? 7. I wouldn't even look at that, but yeah. So all the like I said, the shadow is just usually like only root can access this. So this is more of a sensitive file because this is the actual hash. Some hashing algorithms can be reverse engineered. So you have to also be careful of showing all these encrypted stuff. But for me, it doesn't really matter. As a test user, not always change my password, so it's not something. And then, so we checked out the user. As we can see here, that's the hash. Okay, cool. All right. So what we went over is how to add the user, but we haven't went through how to like what kind of fields there is when you add a user. So when we do the man on the user add command, we'll go over a couple options, which are the main ones that you want to go over. So this is the comment. So remember, I was telling you guys that field was empty and that field didn't show anything. That was the comment section. So that's where you like add like any text string is generally short description of the login and current field of the user's name. So there's just a comment in one of those fields. That's all that means. D, that's if you want to set their home directory. So let's say if the home directory is in /home and it's somewhere else, you can use this flag. Here's for the expiration date. And then G is if you want to add them to a group. So a list of supplementary groups, which a user is also a member for, but remember we have to use a -A because if you use the capital G, you don't want to override its main group. So you want to add it, use the AG command, which I'll show you how to do. And then this is the skeleton directory. I'll show you an option of that one. So this is pretty much if you want to make a skeleton directory, but I'll go over that option in a second. And then we have M create home. This should do it by default, to create a home directory. And then P password, if you want to do the password on demand, we can do that. And then S, if you want to change the shell. And then -U, if you want to give it as unique UID. So one command we can show you now so we can practice. We can do remove test. So actually, sorry. So we can do user delete, and then we can delete test. And then once we delete it, let me know so we can go some of the options over it.
Done.
Okay. All right, is everyone ready? Okay, so now what we can do user add, same thing, right? And then what we can do is start adding options now. So some of the options we can add the E for expiration. So basically when the password will expire, we'll say like 7 days, right? You can do -E, and then we can do -S, which will give you the shell, and I can put bin/z shell. If most of you guys should have this by default, it's like a common shell. So all we're doing here is that we're doing expiration date, so the account should expire in 7 days. The shell should be bin/z shell, and then at the end we can add the user test. Okay, so this is fine because I forgot when we delete the file, we actually have to put another option in there to delete the home folder with it. So we didn't delete the home folder. So everything, so basically the home folder exists, that's fine. But the other variables should be working, like the expiration date and the default shell. All right, so now that we did that, we can do cat etc password. And then
one second, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
I didn't go ahead and execute that command yet. You were saying that we would delete the home folder as well. How would you do that before you move on?
Okay, so if you did that, we'll do user delete. I think is -D, but I could be wrong. So -R. So I will do. Let me do that over again. So we're gonna do user del -R, and then test. Say bars full of my test, not owned by test, not removing. Okay, test not owned by test, not removing. So we'll have to force this if we can do it. All right, let me try to add it again. So you're supposed to use the R option from what the documentation specifies.
I saw you did -FR. That's fine. I know I've seen like -RF.
Yeah. That's like forcing it. But I'm not
Okay.
sure why it's not showing. So let me double check. So a lot of these things you always have to the documentation is important to look at. So I'll have to invoke this. Let's see what it says. Actually, that's adding users. We'll want to do for the delete, user delete. So this forces the removal of the user account, -R, files in the user's home directory will be removed along with the file directory itself. Files locating other system will have to be searched for and deleted. Okay, so it looks like you gotta delete those manually. Apply changes. So what it looks like is deleting the stuff in the home folder from here. So it looks like you would have to just delete it. Let's see, user delete. These are the exit codes, that doesn't matter.
Okay, so for right now, just go ahead and set the expiry, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So right now you can set the expiry, you can put 7, and then you can do -S for the shell, what kind of shell it's going to use, and you can do /bin/ZSH, and then test.
Okay.
Cool. So as we can see here, like, oh yeah, and yeah, so let's I'm gonna try to get too ahead of myself. So we'll do cat etc password, and we'll see how these we'll see how it changed the actual like line of the file. So
is this like the verification that what you did with the expiry actually
yeah,
captured?
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be in the password. No, that would be in the shadow file
Okay.
also. But I wanted to show you under the password that you see the Z shell. You see how now it says Z shell, like add a shell, because you gave it the option. Hey, I want to create this user and I want the shell to be a bin zh or the bin shell or whatever.
Okay.
This shell. So as you can see, it changed. But if we look in the shadow directory, we can see, you should be able to see that 7 days expiration date on there. So you see the extra 7 here? That's where the expiration field goes.
Okay.
Yep. That's the expiration field on that one, as we can see. And then this one is the last time the password was changed, which we know this is not right. And I'm not sure if it's a default value, but over here, 7, this is the expiration date on this. As you can see here, the 2 exclamation mark, we have not set the password up. So to make things easier, let's say when you're creating the user, right, you can use user add if you like, right? You can use user add, and then you can specify like the permissions for like the minimum days, the max days, and all that kind of stuff. But an easier way to do it would be to actually just use the change command, which I'll show you. You can also use the user modification command, which we'll go over. So there's a couple ways of doing it, but the easiest way is using the change command. So if you use this command on test, you can see here that it will ask you for default stuff. So the minimum password age is 0. So if it's 0, that means that it will never be enforced. So I can just press enter if I don't want to enter anything. How long can this account be in use, or the password be in use? Pretty much, I can say 14 days. The last password change was 4.2. I can say yes. The expiration date is 7. That's the warning. Let's say I want the user to know it within 10 days. And inactive is -1, so that doesn't really matter. That's like basically how long the password's been inactive. Then the account expiration date, it'll expire on this date. I can say it will expire on, let's say 05, actually 2023, 0505. So now when I do cat etc password and I do grep-i on test, we can see here, actually not password, shadow. So if we do it on shadow, we can see here we have more values. You see the 14 right here? It's from this field. So you see it asks you in order. So pretty much. So you have 14, right, for the days, and then you have the last expiration, the last time you changed it. And then the expiration warning is 10 days. Password inactive is not in use. And then the account expiration date, this how many days it elapsed. So I'm not sure what that shows it like that. 5/5/23, that should be less than 1948.2. I think it's going off by this value. It looks like it didn't change it on this value. But in order to do an easier one, like I was showing you guys with the change command, you use the change -L on test. This is a lot more easier to manage. So when you do L, it will list the actual information on the account. So as you here, it will show you the password when it expires. It will show you the last password change when it was last changed. It will show you the account when the account will expire. It expires on May 5th, 2023. And then we have the minimum of days between password change is 0. So that means that you can change as many times as you want without waiting in between. And then there's the max number of days that your password can be on one set to one particular password before it asks you to change it. And then the number of days of warning before the password changes. So basically 10 days before this. So basically like 10 days ahead of this, it will warn you to change the password if you use the change command. And then the next command we're going to do is the usermod command, which is very similar to the other command that we use, which was the user add command. As you can see here, you have a lot of options. You have the date that expires. You can change that. Looks like you can lock the account. So you see the -L. This will let you lock the account for the person. And we'll do that now. We'll try that one out. The shell, you can change the shell. So like this you'll only use this if like you didn't put the correct stuff on the first time for the user and you just want to adjust it, or during the tenure of the person and you want to adjust the actual permissions on the account, you can use this also. So let's lock in the account and let's see how that works. So what we can do is let's make a password for test. If you haven't done so already, you can make a password for Tom. For test. Why do I keep saying Tom? For test. We want to make a password for test, and then we want to use the user mod account. And then we're going to use capital L, and we're going to use it on test. So this should lock the account. So it will prevent them from logging in. And once we do the -L, we can cat the etc password, and then grep test.
Sorry, you said it needs to be capital L?
Capital L, yeah.
Okay.
And once we do that, we'll cat the shadow shadow file. And then we will grep for test, or look for the test. And you should see an exclamation mark in front of it, which pretty much this password doesn't work. Like they won't be able to log in. That's what that little exclamation mark means in the front. It will just be added on there to signify that they're locked out and they're not allowed to log in.
Okay, sorry, what's the definition for the L again?
Just capital L just locks the account.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then once you do that, we can go to the cat etc shadow, and we can see that there's an exclamation mark where the hash password is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it pretty much took me back to where I was before I set my password.
Okay.
It's looking like, oh no.
On the etc shadow, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you see the little exclamation mark in the front?
Now I have two. I thought I set a password for this account, but
you can try again. You can just do the password command.
Okay.
Yep, and try that again. See if it lets you, since it's locked.
Oh, okay. Changing password for the user. Yes, it's allowing me. 1 second. Okay. So maybe I did something wrong.
No worries. All good.
LOL again.
Yep.
Okay, it's telling me that's a bad password. I'll put LMA. Oh. Still. Oh my goodness, it's giving me like.
Try to unlock it. So do the -U. So instead of -L, use a -U in front of it, and then try to change the password again.
Okay.
So just run the usermod -U test, and then use the password command on test, and then set the password. It should work now.
So basically, when you lock the account, it doesn't delete anything. It just basically like similar to like Windows, when you lock a user out of their account, they just can't log in. But all their files, system files, everything should be there.
Everything should be here. Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
And even my password, I'm surprised that it's not there. So I just did the usermod -U for test. But I got an error message saying invalid user ID test.
You did a usermod -U test?
Yeah. Oh, it should be capital U, sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because the -U changes the user ID, and you're supposed to put a number in front of it also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, unlocking the user password. Okay.
Nice.
You should set the password. Now I can set a password.
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone else is following?
Okay. And then now shadowing.
Yes. And if you do shadow, since we didn't lock it, unless you locked it back, it shouldn't have an exclamation mark in front of it.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. So I'm
Okay.
gonna go ahead and lock it back now.
Yep. You're gonna lock it, and then you're gonna see there's an exclamation mark in front of it. And then we're gonna try to log in with switch user. But we'll do that right after you see the exclamation mark.
Yep.
Okay. So now we can try to do switch do the switch user and then try to go into test.
And then quick question. I know this might be taking you back a little, but the grep dash I, what does the I stand for again?
Case insensitive.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean I do that all the time. I mean I probably didn't have to do it, but I'm just like one capital letter means a different thing.
Right.
So
right.
like, yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
One second, Prof. Don't move yet. I'm just taking some notes here.
Take your time.
I might have to just revisit this class video again because once I couldn't get into the root.
That's fine.
Just disheveled me, and I kind of.
No worries, no worries.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everyone's good.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so SU test is where we are now, right? So we're
Yeah.
switching user from the root to the test.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yep. So pretty much the user should be unable to log into the system. So this can be useful pretty much for disabling access to a user account without actually deleting the account or removing any files associated with it. So the -L only prevents the user from logging in with a password. So if the user has SSH key set up for authentication, they may still be able to access the system unless their SSH keys are also removed. Just FYI.
Okay.
So if you try to change into their file, as you can see, since I'm root, it does allow you, but like you're not able to do anything in here. So if you do ls,
So I wasn't able to switch into test. I got an error message saying failed to execute / the shell, I guess, shell information.
Yep, you're good. That means it worked.
Okay.
Yep, and then what you can do is try to unlock it and try the same thing again.
Okay, unlocking is the capital U, usermod -u test.
Yep.
And then I did SU test.
Yes.
Okay, it's still not allowing me.
What does it say now?
Failed to execute /bin/zsh. No file or directory.
Oh, I forgot. Maybe that shell is not on there. So let's change it. Let's change the shell real quick, you guys. So use usermod when you get a chance, and then -s, type in bin bash, and then test. Try to do that really quick, and then try again. Yeah, because that Z shell, a lot of distros have it. So some distro might not have the Z shell in there as an option. Let me see some cat etc shells. This tells you what you have on your system. If you do the cat shells. So maybe that's why it wasn't working.
Okay.
Because these are the shells that are on my system at the moment.
Okay. Let me see. Yeah, it worked.
It worked?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So yeah. So if you guys do cat slash etc shells, we can see that those are the shells on your system. So if you don't see ZSH, that might be the reason why.
Yeah.
Okay. So you say it works now?
Yes. I'm already in the test root user now.
Okay.
And is there a big difference between the Z shell and the bash shell?
I think the Z shell has more options supposedly. I think has like is basically the same thing as the bash, just has a little bit more options and stuff.
Cool.
That's it. And then let's see if we can try the active user test. You see how it says permission denied?
Yeah.
See it? Yep.
So I know I just changed the shell and I'm following your guide, but what is the shell? Like, what is that exactly?
So the shell is what you're interacting with. Like me typing these commands, this is the shell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the shell. So like right now, if you type in echo $shell with all capital, this is called the environmental variable. This is what the environment you're in, and you're using the bash, the bin bash, which this is the shell that you use. So without the shell, you won't be able to speak with the actual hardware or the computer and stuff.
Okay.
And the terminal is the actual the thing that you're using. So if you're using putty, you're using whatever you're using, that's a terminal. The terminal is just like the graphical user interface with the options of the color of like the text and all that crazy stuff. But the shell is actually how you interact with the actual system.
Okay.
Yeah. So we learned about locking and unlocking users. There's another thing you can do, which I can show you really quick. You can do user mod -s, and then you can do bin no login. So this will actually give you the no login shell, but let me see if it exists really quick. /bin /no login doesn't exist. Hold on. Let me see something. So it's on the user. Want to show you guys one more method just for the heck of it. There it is. So it's under user /sbin no login. So if you guys want to also lock out a user per se, you could also use user mod and then use the S to change the shell. And then you will use user /sbin /no login. I think you would have to type it because it doesn't let me do a command completion on it. And we'll try to do that. And then once you change it, we can try to log in to test. As you can see, that this account is currently not available. And then once you're done, you can put it back into the bin bash. And then you can try to log in again. As you can see, hold on. Is it locked? Let me double check. Let me exit. Oh yeah, mine's still locked, I think. So user mod. Interesting. So /bash rc permission denied. Might have to refresh that really quick. Did you guys try the no login one? See if you guys had anything on there.
I'm trying it now. I got permission denied.
Okay. And then try to change it back to the bin bash. So you got permission denied when you, I'm sorry, you got permission denied when you try to change it to the test user or when you try to execute the command?
The execute the command usermod dash s, the no login one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it said permission denied there.
Are you root or are you like another user?
I'm root.
Okay, so it said permission denied. So you typed in usermod dash s / user s bin no login.
Yeah.
And then test and it says permission denied.
Yeah.
Interesting. It shouldn't say permission denied. So it could be, did it say bash rc also on there? Like bash / home test bash rc permission denied?
You are still at test, that's why. You need to change user to root or either use sudo.
Oh, okay. I saw root here, but I'm confused because I'm seeing root two places. 1 second.
All right, so
Yep.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you navigated to the root folder, not the actual
root user. Okay.
Yeah, so you do a su
Sudo.
no, change user to root su dash to user and
Okay, I'm in root now, so let me try it again.
Okay.
Okay, and then SU. All right, so I think it worked.
Okay.
After I did that, what am I supposed to do now?
Nothing. You're just supposed to verify that you're able to get back in.
Okay.
That's it. Were you able to verify that you're able to get back in after you locked the account or you used a no login?
So that would be SU test.
That would be, yeah, SU test.
Yeah, it says this account is currently not available.
Okay. And did you change it back to the /bin?
No, how do I do that?
Oh, okay. So you'll use usermod -s and then change it to the bin shell, which was the original one. Bin bash, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Use a test user.
Okay.
That's it. Then you can try to log in.
Yeah, it worked.
Okay, nice. All right, now we're going to move on to the group. So now we know how to add users. I showed you a couple ways to lock out the user. There are tools out there, I'm sure, GUI management tools, but we're going over everything through the command line. If you can understand a command line, it'll make things a lot easier. GUIs are very intuitive, so they shouldn't be too hard to learn. But now we're going to do the group management. They're very similar. So if you want to add a group, you can do group add. And then let's add a group. Let's call it admin. And then once we add that group, we can press enter. Actually, I already have an admin group, so you guys can add it. Sorry about that.
Bro, what did you type up?
I typed in group add, admin.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Whenever you guys are ready, just let me know. I'll move on.
Ready.
Okay. So now that we added the group admin, what we can do now, we can type in like cat etc groups. This will tell you all the groups that you have in your file system. I mean, not in your file system, group. You want to do group without a S on it. This will tell you all the groups that you have currently in your system. And if you actually use the grep thing again with -I and we use admin, we can see that we have admin. And this is our group ID right here, the 11005. And then we can use the groups command. And the groups command actually tells you what groups is the test user a part of. But right now, what we're going to do, we just added the group named admin. Now we're going to add the user test to the admin group. And the reason why, remember, like if you have a group named admin, you can give the group admin permissions to certain directories. You can give it certain, like I said, permissions for certain directories and certain files and things like that. But that's the reason why you'll add them to an admin group or have like a shared directory that all the admins share. But remember, the admin group has the GID, which is called the group user, the group ID of 1005. And as you can see here, this is the user, and then there's the groups that he's part of. So the way you want to do it is we have to use a usermod command, which is user modification. And then A stands for add, and then the capital G is group. If you just type in G, it will overwrite his primary group, which you don't want to do.
Prof.
Yes.
Yes. If you go back a little bit, right before you typed grep, that sign right there, how did you get that? Because
oh, it's on top of the enter button.
Yes. When I do that, mine is it doesn't
like
give me a straight line.
Hold shift.
Shift.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It just looks
Okay.
like a split in the line.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when -I, right?
Yes, -I, which stands for case insensitive. I mean, I do it because it's just a habit for me. And the reason why is because sometimes if I have a file named admin, a file named admin, a file named admin, and a file named add, and then min, all of these are different in Linux.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why I always do it, just in case it's like there's some capitals going on there. So now that we know that we added the group, the reason why we looked in the etc group, because this tells you all the groups that there is on the system. You can use the shadow too. I'll tell you the groups and stuff on the users and stuff. But honestly, this is a lot more helpful because you just get the group information that you need. And now what we can do is type in usermod, which user modification, -A for add, and then G for group. The reason you do it this way is because you're adding a group, you're adding groups to it. The primary group of users, it's usually like their username. So if it's Sally, Sally will be the primary group of Sally will be Sally. So that's how it usually is. And anything after that will be their secondary groups and stuff like that, or supplementary groups. And then when we do that, we're going to add it to the admin group. And now we're going to give it to the test user. And once you do that, let me know.
I guess in my case, since I wasn't able to set up the test, I can't. It doesn't work.
Oh, because of the root permissions?
Correct.
Okay. If you want to get yours up and ready, maybe later tonight or tomorrow evening, I can go over it with you. You just ping me.
Okay.
Yep, I can go over some of the commands that we went over today.
Okay.
Sorry, how do you check to see if the group was actually added?
Okay, so yep, that was the next part. So what you can do is type in groups. Oh, I'm sorry. You can do it this way too. Oh, how the group was added? Sorry, the admin group, right? You mean how the group was added to the system or how the group was added to the user?
The system, because I tried to add and I just didn't want to take you back, but
No problem. Take your time. So type in cat/etc group. So you type in this command. Let me copy and paste it and put it inside the chat. See if it's easier. Where is the bars? Always disappearing.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Did the admin pop up?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next command will be this one, will be the usermod -ag admin test.
And sorry, and this is to do what again?
This is to add the okay, so this is to add the user admin. Basically to give tests to make them part of the admin group also, like to add them to the admin group.
Okay.
And the reason you would use this is because when you initialize the user, right? We didn't use the capital AG. We didn't use anything. So we didn't add them to the admin group in the beginning. So user mod is when the user is already created and you want to modify the user's user parameters and stuff like that.
Okay.
And once we do that, if we do the ID command, if we do ID on test, you should see that now there should be that he's part of the admin group.
Did anybody else get that?
Yeah, I mean, just a different number, but same layout.
Yeah, it should be a different number. Yeah. Yeah, it is fine. It's normal. Yeah, just because the system, depending on your system, the numbering might be slightly different. So
Cool. I got it. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So now what we can do is now we see that it's part of the admin group, right? So which is great. So the other thing we can do other than ID that test, you can type in groups. That's another command we can type in. So groups, and then you can type in test. This will give you specific information of what groups test is part of. Instead of ID just gives you the more like granular information, like the user ID, GID, groups, and all that. As we can see here, it tells us here that that is part of the admin group also. If you type in groups test. So yeah, so we're part of the admin group, as we can see that, you guys. And what I can do now what we can do is create a directory. So if you guys remember, we can create a directory, and we'll create it slash. We'll call it secret. Like this is a secret directory, let's say, or whatever you want to call it, honestly, but we'll call it secret for this case. We'll do make dir /secret whenever you guys are ready. And the reason we're going to do this is because we're going to make the owner, the group owner admin of this directory.
Good to go.
Okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to change the owner, not to change the owner. I'm sorry. We're going to change the group on this. Is that the correct command? Let me try to see. Just want to make sure. So we're going to change the group, and let me do /help, make sure the syntax is correct, so that way I don't tell you the wrong one the first time. So staff, let's see, nice, okay. So change group, and then we're going to do admin on /secret. Then once you do this, let me know. So you should do change group, so chgrp admin on your secret directory that you just newly created.
Yeah, done.
Okay. So once we do that, we can do the ls-l command on the secret directory. I'm sorry. Why isn't it showing up? There's nothing in there, obviously. And we just made that one. All right, we're going to run the get fackle command on that. Let me see if I can clear it. Why isn't it clear? Okay, cool. So we do get fackle on the secret directory. And you should see the group should be admin.
Yep.
Okay. So we're also going to change the permissions. So we're going to do the change mod command, and we're going to do like 770 on the /secret directory. So that means that no one else has access to this directory except you know, whoever else is part of it. All right, and this is where you're gonna learn how the SGID works. From the last class, I know you guys were looking at the SGID, and I'll show you a practical example here. So whenever you guys are ready to move on, let me know. The last step was changing the permission to 770 on /secret.
So that means secret, the owner can only read and write?
The owner and the user could rewrite and execute, and everyone else cannot do anything.
When I did the ls minus, oh, I guess I don't have the user. I guess that's why I don't have the test.
Oh no, yeah, it shouldn't show you anything because there's nothing in there. So when you do an ls-l, right, on the secret, you should see the same thing, total 0. And the reason you see nothing is because when you do the ls command, you're asking it to list stuff inside of it. So if you actually want to see like the permissions on this, you do ls-l and you do it on the root. So you want to go on the parent, because when you do it, because when you do it here, you're looking inside the folder and it's not going to show you nothing because there's nothing that exists. So you do ls-l on / and you go to secret, then you can see the permissions. You can see root, and then admin, and then you can see a D as a directory. All right. So the last one was change mod, right, you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's change into the directory of secret. And once we're in the directory, we're going to touch a file, name file1.txt. And once you create the file, we're going to do ls-l. And let me know once you guys create the file 1.txt.
Done.
Okay. Is everyone following along? Anyone need any help or anything?
Good.
Okay. So the reason I did this is to showcase that since the SGID bit isn't on in the admin, in the secret, so the secret directory is owned by the admin group. So the admin group owns the secret folder. And as you can see now, someone adds something, right? You see that the user who creates it, it's under their group, their primary group. So we don't want that, especially for the shared directory. We want this to be part of the group. You want the owner of the group to own it, and that's the reason we're going to use SGID bit. And how do we do that? We can use a change mod command, and then we can do G plus S because we're adding the SGID bit, and we're going to add it on the secret directory. And then once we do that, let me know.
But you can also do the numerical option as well, right? For this one.
Yeah, if you want to, you can.
Okay.
You could just do. I think 2270. You could do that too, either or.
I think the numerical values are wrong, right?
Let me double check. Unless I put it in correctly, that could be possible. So let's do slash ls slash, let me do dash L.
Oh, it's for the secret file, not for file 1. So you might be right.
No, yeah, it's not for file 1. It's for the directory. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason we're doing the directory is because this SGID bit is gonna basically any file created in that directory.
Okay.
Yeah, it would inherit the group's group as the primary owner of it. And if we do ls-l, as you can see, file 1 the owner of it should be root. And then after we set the correct permissions on there, we can create a file with the touch command, and we're going to do file2.txt. And if we do ls-l, as you can see now, admin is the owner of that by default.
Okay.
Yeah. Does everyone follow along?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so in this example, we can see that when we have the admin group, we can see that the admin group that's on the actual file, which is under slash, we can see right here, admin is the actual group owner of this actual directory, and we can see that it has read, write, and execute permissions, and also has the SGID bit enabled, which means that pretty much everything will be inherited under the group name also, and also runs with the permissions of it too if you're part of the group. So what we can do here now is we can create another user called user add test number 2. And the reason we're adding that is because, oh yeah, and also let's change the password for it too. The reason we're adding it is because we're going to see how this permissions will affect test2 and then test, since test is part of the admin group and test2 isn't. And we're going to see how it affects them trying to access the folder. So if we do password test.2, we can change the password on this too. And once you guys have the extra username test2 created, let me know, and the password also created.
Done.
Nice.
All right, done.
Okay. All right. So now that we created test number 2, we're going to switch into test number 2. And then now what we're going to do is try to CD into secret. And what you see that it says permission denied. And since test2 can't access it, we can also use the groups command and then type in test2. And as you can see that the only group that he's part of is his own primary group, which is test2. Once we verify that, we can type in the exit command to go back to the previous user. If you're a root, you'll become root. If you are another user, then you'll become that other user.
Yeah,
Was it?
back to group.
Yep, groups command. Yep. you type in groups test 2, you should see that test 2 isn't part of anything. They should be part of their own primary group, which is the group that was pretty much the default group that was initiated when you created the user. Yeah. And once you do that, you can type in exit. It will just push you back to whatever shell you were in currently, or whatever like environment you're in. So like if you're root before, yeah. And once you do that, we can switch user into test. Or whatever, actually, did I put it on test? Put it on. Let me check on groups on test. Let me see if I did it on this user. Okay, let me remove this user real quick. I think I have some issues with this one real quick. So, I'm going to use test 0, so just don't mind me. I apologize. I think I'm having some issue with that thing at the moment. So we're going to do user add. So yours will be test. Mine will be test 0 for the moment being. So we're going to do add, and then we're going to do the groups, GA. There it is. And this will make it a default. Let's check. Okay. All right. So when you guys get a chance, try to switch into your test user, your normal test user that should have the admin permissions. Admin group enabled. Now try to CD into the secret directory. See if you're allowed to. So you'll just be switching user to your test user that has the admin permissions, and you're going to CD into the /secret, and you're going to do ls-l, which should be able to let you read the files in there. All right. Is everyone doing all right? Is there anybody have any technical issues, or everyone's good to move on?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Were you guys able to verify that test user was able to change the directory to the secret directory?
I guess with mine, since I had used the root to create the admin, so I had to go back into a root to do that. But when I did it, I saw that the root was the admin, because I wasn't able to use test 1.
Oh, so okay. So are you a root user now?
Yes, I'm root user now. I was able to create test 2 because I was able to follow that part. Yeah. So when we did the admin stuff, I did it on the root, so I had to go back into root to do the CD.
Oh no, that's fine.
/secret.
Yeah. So you can do this. Just do usermod /-a capital G, and then type in admin, and then type in the user that you wanted to do it on it originally. What do you have a test user?
Yeah, I have a test user now. I just created it now.
Okay, yep. Change the password and then add the admin group just like this with the usermod-ag admin test, and then log into it and then try to see if you can go into the secret directory and let me know if that works.
So even though I had the secret directory and the root, if I use this, it will take it there.
Yes, if you change the permissions on that directory with the SGID bit, and also you added admin as the owner of that directory. I can type in the commands just in case you did not do it on there. Let me
so it went there. So I typed enter. It went through. So do I put ls-l?
Oh, yeah. So are you, what user are you right now? Test, right?
Right now my root. So I put on the root is where I put the user mod.
Yeah.
-ag.
Yep. Lowercase a, capital case G, admin,
Yeah.
and then test. Yes.
Right, I did that.
Okay. So do ls-l on your root directory. See if see if admin is the owner of that directory.
Yeah, admin is here.
All right, and
you said ls-l -l?
Yep, and then / for the root, starting at the root directory.
Okay, let me do that.
Yep. Once you do that, you should look where this secret directory is, and you should see that it should say root admin, because I created mine with root, so yours might say something, but the key point is that admin, the group is admin.
Correct. So I see that the directory is read, write, execute, read, write, S for
beautiful.
the admin.
Okay. Yeah. So now what you can do is change user to test, or the user that you enabled that you gave him the user that you added to the admin group. That's the person that you want to use. So you can do su test, go into that user.
Su test. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then once you're there, cd to secret.
CD to secret. Oh, CD /secret, right?
Yep. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So do ls-l. You should see two files. File 1.txt with root, and then file 2.txt with root admin, or
correct.
At least, okay. So now what you can do here is we can touch another file. And we can do file 3.txt. And if you do ls-l, you can see that it was created by the test zero, which is the user on there, and then you can see that the owner is admin.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone was able to follow along?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Beautiful. So in this example, we're just showing that how groups are important. If you're part of a group, you're able to access files, and then the SGID bit is able to, anyone who creates a file in there, they are able to create files with it belonging to the owner. And then for the sticky bit, we can do the sticky bit one here, the one that we didn't do, that was part of the homework. We can go over that one really quick also. So what we can do is exit back to the root user, and then we'll change the permissions. So we'll add 2 and 1, which is 3. So we'll do change mod. We'll do 3770 on the secret. And then once we do that, we can change to one of the users, which is su test. The one that has admin permissions, that's the one that you want to use. The one that has admin permissions. And then once you do that, you can do ls-l. Whenever you guys are ready. So right now we just added the sticky bit to the directory of secret. And the reason why is that way we can showcase that you can't delete other people's file unless you're the owner of it.
So, question.
Yes.
Yeah. So how come I'm not seeing the T for the sticky bit?
So let's try to do that. /L/secret.
Oh, okay.
So you should see it in here.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yep, because we're doing the sticky bit on the directory, not on the file itself.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Has everyone completed everything?
Yep.
Okay. So I don't think this will work, but let me try something real quick. We'll try to remove file 3. So I am the owner of this file. I can read and write, but it should see if it delete it. Okay, cool. So it looks like it deleted it. So try to delete file 3. You guys make sure that so you should be able to delete file 3. And then if you want, you guys can try to delete file 2 also. And then you can delete that one. As you can see here, when I run the file, it says operation not permitted. But you know what? Let's change the default value of the system, because as we can see here, it's read only. So I want to make it so it's read write execute on both of those fields. That way, anyone who's part of the admin group should be able to delete it. So there's 2 things that we're going to do. The first thing is that we're going to make sure test the first test, and basically let's make 2 accounts and make sure that you run the user add -ag admin, and then add your 2 accounts, your test 1 and test 2, or whatever test you have. So the first step will be to do this. And the reason we're doing this is so we can make a file from each account and try to delete the other person's file, and then try to delete your own file. As you can see, you can delete your own file, but you won't be able to delete somebody else's file. So what we can do is use the user add -ag, make sure you have 2 accounts, test and test 1, or test 1 or test 2, whatever you're comfortable with. But make sure you add them both to the admin group. And then once you do that, we're going to use the umask command, and this is just basically going to set the default for the directories that are created. It will set the default permissions. So you just type in umask 007, and you just type in enter, and that's all you have to do. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because the default one is read or read write. So it's not letting me delete it the way I want to delete it. So I just left it like this. That way it'll be a lot more easier for the example. For the example, we'll just use the umask command, and all this does is just sets the default for the system. Like if I make a directory, it will have default permissions. If I make a file, this is the default permissions for it, but I don't want that to be the default. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a file called touch. And we'll do touch 3 since I deleted that one. Text. I'll do ls-l. As you can see now, you have the read write on here, which is good. That's what I was looking for. All right, is everyone following along? Or is there any feedback?
Nope.
Okay. So the whole point of this, we don't really, I mean, just to showcase this, so we can move on to another thing. But just to show what I did, you guys. So pretty much, as we can see, there's two users, test 0, we have test 1. They're both part of the admin group. And since the sticky bit is enabled, we can see that test 1 is unable to delete file 3 because file 3 belongs to test 0. So even though I have the same permissions as him in the group, because it's all the admin group, I am not allowed to delete his file at all. Like, it won't let me. It says operation not deleted. I mean, not allowed to, not permitted. So if I exit back to the root and I switch it back to the default permissions on here. So if I do change mod and I just leave the 2, which is only the set GID bit, and then I switch user again to test 1, and then I try to remove his file again. As you can see now, if I do ls-l, I was able to remove his file. I think it was Gervain that had that issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of saw this example right here, what I did, how over here you see operation not permitted because the sticky bit was enabled on this directory. And you see here when I changed the modification, I changed it to 2770. So I just left the SGID bit on, but turned off this, and I turned off the sticky bit. And then as you saw here, I went back to test 1, which I was test 1 here, and I tried to remove it here, and it didn't work. But when I did it here, it worked.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
And the reason why it worked is because since I'm part of the admin group, I'm allowed to read write. I have the same permission as whatever permissions the admin group is I have. But even if and the reason why you do this is because admin might have the permissions to like delete stuff, but the sticky bit just enables people not to delete other people's folder except themselves or the system administrator, like the root owner or the one who has those permissions and stuff. But the whole point of this is so you can have people in the same folder and people don't delete their stuff, but if you don't have it enabled, then people will be able to delete their own stuff. That's all. And even if the admin does have rights to delete other people's folder, they won't be able to.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes. Let me just clear my screen real quick and we'll just go over some of the other stuff. So for deleting groups, what you guys can do is, let me just exit out of this one. So let's add a group. So we're going to do a group add. And we can add a group, and we can call this group called admin1. And then we're going to delete the group by group delete, and then admin1. This should add the group, and this should delete the group. And then for user add, we'll do user add Johnny, and then user delete, which is very similar. So it's, as you can see, we added a user named Johnny and we deleted a user named Johnny. And yep. And then to modify a group is group mod, right? If I want to, modify group admin, because this is already created, we haven't deleted this. So if you want to mod it, we use the group mod command. And if you want to do it on a user, you use the user mod. And I'll list that on our paper for us for some of the common options. So for if we do a group mod, I can use the man pages on this one, which is the manual pages, which gives you more info. So if we do group add, actually no, group mod, we can see here, it gives you some options. The only thing you can really do is you can append more people to the group. You can change the group ID. Some of these are not as important. So it's a little things here. You're not going to use it as much, but it is an option to modify things in the group. So you might be using user mod a lot more in this instance. And yeah, by the way, when you're adding the passwords on user, you can use a -p for the user add. So let's say if I use LOL on the username J1, as you can see now, if I switch to the user J1 and I put my password in, well, I'm root. I'm not going to need the password, but the whole point is the -p will actually give you a password in plain text, which isn't good. You guys can use the OpenSSL command, which is like OpenSSL. I think it's -L, and then you type in like a word named John. I forgot what the command was, but it's something like this. That's if you want it the password encrypted. But if you have it in plain text, you can use the -p to do it, or you can just do it manually. But that's if you want to add the password on demand when you're creating the user. All right, so we pretty much went over most of the stuff. So the expiration policies, we can go over the change edge command that we didn't go over. So if you want to change like the actual permissions on here, as you can see, you can use -M, the lowercase m for the minimum days. And then if you do the -L and then you type in the user, you'll get the list of information. This is the last day where they can change the password, the expiration date. So remember, we can use a change command, which is change H. And like I said, if you want to get more information on the user, you can use the -L, test0. As we can see, we have information. And if you want to change certain values of it, you can use the man pages, or you can do change H --help. And this will give you more info. As you can see here, these are the options you can use. You can change like the minimum days, like what's the minimum days. They're allowed to change a password. So like they have to wait 2 days before they change it again. And then the amount of days the password is in effect before they have to reset it. So these are the options for change H, which is the main thing that we want to look at. The PAM one, I think I'll hold off on that one until we go over more security stuff, but I do have a little, not a script, but like how you can change the password H if you want to do it that way. Actually, I'm sorry. I have something. There's a thing called PAM, which is pluggable authentication modules. So like for a system admin, we'll go over this, I think, later on when we go more security. The reason why is because I don't want to get too much in depth with some of these things. But and the reason why is because I feel like there's a couple things we have to go over before going on some of this. But what it is, it just sets the password complexity. So you know when you guys are setting the passwords for your users, it doesn't give you like any security. Like you can just put whatever password. So using the pluggable authentication module, which we'll go over, that one will actually give you like options to give it like the minimum length, like how long does it have to be, like there has to be at least 1 digit, there has to be a capital letter, there has to be a symbol. So those are the things you're allowed to enable in this particular file. Which is this file, just for future reference. If you, I'm going to type this in the actual chat, and it's actually inside of our, notes also that I have in there. So this command right here opens up a text editor named Nano, and if you want to exit, you can press Control X and then press Enter. That way you don't change anything. Or actually, I think there's another command you can do. You can press No if you don't want to change anything. But if you look in this folder, or I mean in this file, you see the minimum length, like I want 8 characters at least. It might be so mine is overridden because there's other rules in place that overrides that. But if everything is set correctly, once you set up everything, you use this one to give it the password complexity. So the D credit means that you need at least 1 digit in the password. So let's say if I wanted 2 digits in the password, I can put like, hey, I want at least 2 digits in the password. And then how many uppercase do I want? There has to be at least 1 uppercase. So I can just delete that and put, hey, I want at least 1 uppercase. Looks like there's still a comment. There it is. And then here it tells you how many lowercase characters you have. Let's say I at least have to have 1 lowercase minimum. And it gives you that. And then over here, it tells you the maximum credit for having other characters, whatever. That doesn't really matter. But the main things that people look for is for the lowercase, the uppercase, the digits, and the symbols, and the minimum length on here. So this is I already sent you guys the folder, but we'll go over this again when we go over some pluggable authentication modules, kind of go a brief overview over that. We'll go over that. But what I want to cover now is the redirection, because I know we're going to go over it. I think we ran out of time that day. So I want to go over redirection. Is anyone familiar with the term redirection at all?
Nope.
Okay. So you remember when I used that pipe symbol, this one, right? So this is called redirection. So when we talk about outputs, right, there's different outputs, right? There's standard output, there's standard error, and there's standard input. So standard input is like your mouse, your keyboard, anything that's giving input to your screen, right? Standard output is this. When I do ls, you see this? This is standard output. So this means that it's standard output always prints to your screen. So let's say I don't want this to be printing to my screen. I want it to print to a file. I can do ls, and then I can use this symbol right here, which is called a redirection, which redirects the output. And I'm redirecting it to something called file1.txt. And if I cat file1.txt, we can see that it copied the actual output. If I type in ls, it copied the output. And the only reason it comes out like this is because it didn't keep the original like the way, like you see how it's spelled with spaces in between, like it doesn't keep the original composure or the original one. So if you wanted to do that, would be, let me double check. I'm gonna put that over it. So ls/this to the file1.txt. Let's try this really quick. Let's try this. This will override it. Okay. Nice. Okay, whatever. Just kept the format. Doesn't really matter. So case sensitive, not the number L, should be the lowercase L. Okay, cool. All right. So when we're using the greater than sign, so one greater than sign means that you're overriding the file. And if we have two, it just if you have two, you're just appending to the file. So we can all follow along on this one. When you guys are ready, we're gonna type in echo, and we're gonna type in hello, and then I'm gonna wait for you guys, and we're gonna type it to file1.txt. And once you have this set up, let me know. I'm gonna copy and paste it in the actual chat so you guys can see it. So what this is doing, so when you do an echo, on the screen and you type in hello, all this does, it just prints it to standard output, which is your screen. So think about your screen as standard output. This is where all the text goes. Like any issues or any messages is printed to standard output, which is what we're seeing now. So when you type in echo hello, it's just repeating the word and it's just telling you on here. And then when we do file1.txt, echo/hello and /file1.txt, you press enter, you see nothing shows on the screen because that text, instead of printing to the screen, it got printed to the file1.txt. Is everybody following along?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so if everyone runs cat file1.txt, you can double tab it to finish it quicker. As you can see, we see hello. And if we run the command again by using the up arrows, and you do cat file1.txt, as you can see, nothing's changed. It looks exactly the same. because every time you run this greater than, it just overrides everything inside that file. But if you have two of them and you run that command with the double greater than signs, and then cat, as you can see, there's hello, hello, because you append it to the end of the line. Was everyone able to replicate this or able to follow this example?
Hello.
Take your time, no rush.
Got it.
Nice. All right, everyone was able to get two hellos in there and in the actual file one.txt or wherever you guys are located.
Yeah, I'm good now.
Nice. Okay. So when we're doing this, the double greater than, you're just appending to a file. This is overwriting a file. So if you're logging stuff, never use this because you'll delete everything in there. You always want to use this because you're appending to it. So when we're doing stuff, like if you ever run the ls command and I use like number 3354, you see, like it says ls invalid option, right? So this is incorrect because there's no flag or option that has this, right? So this is called standard error. So standard error gets printed to standard output. So what you're seeing here is called standard error. So standard error gets printed to standard output, which standard output is what we see. So if we did ls -3, we can see that that there's an error. So what we're going to do, we're going to do number 2, and we're going to overwrite the file one.txt, and I'm going to explain this to you guys real quick before we press it. So number 1 stands for standard. So if you see standard number, if you see number 1, it's standard output. Number 2 should be standard error.
So number 1 is standard output, and number 2 is standard error.
Yes, and 0 should be standard input. And then number 1 should be standard output. Number 2 should be standard error. And if you do that, yep. And so basically, instead of the error printing to the screen, it will print to the file. But if I did this, if I did ls-l, right? You see, the output still comes out. Why? Because I'm only redirecting errors. So like when I ran this command earlier, you see, I ran it incorrectly. So this is wrong. You're not supposed to use ls-3. That -3 doesn't exist for the options. So what I said is that any error that comes out, print it to file one.txt. Over here, I ran the command again. And I said ls-l-2, which means that any error that comes, I want you to put in file one.txt. Since I ran the command correctly, the standard error, you don't see no standard. Basically, you see output here because this output is from standard output. This is like regular stuff. This isn't an error code. So since it's not an error code, it still prints out here. But if I kept my file one.txt, as you can see, there's nothing because it overwrote it and it was empty. Like the actual output for error was empty. So nothing was printed. So if I do that again with the number 3, and if I cat file one.txt, as you can see here, it copied that error into the file. Like it actually copied it into the file. And this is standard error. And if you want to copy both of them, you can use this ampersand sign. And this will do the same thing. If I do cat, you see the same thing. So the ampersand sign will print a standard output, redirect standard output and standard error using the this operator, the ampersand operator. So let me see if I can try to See if I can get paint real quick. I can draw this out for you guys too, just to get a little better visual of it. Let's share the screen real quick. All right, can everyone see the screen now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so this is your terminal, okay? Or the screen that you see. Let's call it screen. So this is the screen. So definitely wrong one. Let's put this one red. And then we're going to put this one green, which is a standard. Actually, do they change colors for all of them? Okay, let's try another one. Okay. Okay, we're going to delete that. Let's change the color back to, change the color back. Put it here. Okay. So when I'm over here, right, and I run the command like ls-l, right? Any output of this, like the output of this command, gets printed over here, right? So it's like file1.txt, like, you know, read, write, execute, or whatever. But this, when it comes, when it goes through the stream, is called stream. It goes through here. It goes to the standard output, and the standard output puts it on your screen, right? But let's say instead of it coming to here, right, and to the screen, I want to put into a text file. So what happens is that that gets redirected to here. So when I run ls-l, here, right? So instead of it going through here, right? Instead of going down here and it's printing to the screen, it just sends it to the file that you're looking at. So when I do the redirection, it's just putting it here. Okay. If I run the ls- was number 3, the error prints down here. So the errors print in the screen and standard output. So things are right and things are bad. So both of these things print down here. But let's say I only want to get the errors that come, you use the number 2. So the number 2 that you see, that's the standard error. And then, so when I'm running the -3, all the errors are going to be printed here. And then all the good stuff will be printed here. But if there's no good stuff, or like positive messages or standard output messages and only standard errors, you're only going to get standard errors. So, like example, if I type in the command ls-3, right? And if I type it in normally, the error will come here, like the text will come here. But let's say I don't want it to be there and I want it to be redirected to file1.txt. I can just put like, you know what? I want this to go to file1.txt, right? And what happens, the system will make something called file1.txt on demand, and it will send the output to here. But this is the command that I run right here. It's ls-3 / file1.txt. So when I run this command, what it does, it redirects the error to this file. So when I do ls-3, which is incorrect, instead of printing it down here, it gets printed to the file1.txt. And I put 1. Let's say if I put let's say instead of number 2 on this one, let's say I put number 3. I'm sorry. Instead of number 2, I put number 1. Why is it all messed up? Let's say for the command, instead of putting 2, I put 1, and then I do the file1.txt. Sorry, it's a little small. Let me try to make this bigger. Okay. So if I do this command, guess what? Nothing will be printed here because this is an error code. So the error code you'll still be able to see it on your screen, because since it's an error, it will print out to your screen. And if since number 1 prints out normal messages, nothing will be printed out here because there's no like good messages coming out, like nothing for standard output. If there was a 2 here, what will happen is that all the error code will be redirected to the file. If there's nothing here, like if I'm not redirecting anything, it will just by default print to your screen. This is the redirection part of it. Before I move to the piping part of it, like where you can pass command to another command, does anyone have any questions at all about this part? I know it might be a little confusing at first because it was a little bit for me when I first started, but I'm trying to like show you visuals also. And if there's anything you don't understand, please ask so I can try to like clarify that specific question or that specific doubt that you have.
No.
Anybody else? Is there anything that they might have any questions about redirection with number 1 and number 2? All right, I guess we'll move on. So just a reminder, the file, these are called file descriptors. So number 1 is the standard output, and 2 is standard error, and then 0 standard input, which is like your keyboard and stuff. So I'm going to switch back to the actual terminal. Now we're going to talk about piping. So what this piping does, it just redirects the output. So now that you understand output, when I do the ls command, right? So this gives me the output of the ls command, right? But let's say I want to see how many like lines there is on this account. I mean on this command, I can do the pipe and I can do the word count command. The word count -L tells me how many lines there is, and it tells me that there's 7 lines. So if I do ls, we can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what piping does, it grabs this input and it puts it into here. To show you that, to demonstrate that, we can do echo, and then I can redirect that output, which is standard output, and I can redirect it to the word count command. Hold on. Not sure if it accepts it that way. So each command accepts it a little bit differently. So when I'm echoing it, I'm changing the standard output and I'm saying it to the word count command. I might have to do it the other way. So let's see if that makes a difference. Probably doesn't, but let me try this instead. Let's do ls ls, and then we're going to put this into file1.txt. So we're going to redirect the output, and now if we do cat on file1.txt, we can see that it has the actual output of it. And then if I do this, I can do word count again, -L. As you can see, I get 8. I think it's counting maybe an extra file or some white space. So let's look into the file. Let's do cat file1.txt. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I added this on accident. Okay, cool. So what the pipe does, it just grabs the output of this and it sends it to the next program to work. So when I'll show you here. So all the command does is that one command is ran, right? And then it's put here. So it's like I put a command here, the command comes out. This is really terrible, but whatever. Let's try to. So the way that works is that a command comes here. So I'll put in, let's say, we'll put in let's say I put in the ls command. So if I run the ls command and you see the middle is the pipe, and then that gets piped to another program, and that program is called word count -L. And then from there we get the actual output on your screen, which comes here, and it tells you number 8 or whatever it was. So all that does is that you run the ls command, right? The ls command, and when you run the ls command, you push that into this program, which is pipe. What it does, it grabs the output of this and it puts it into this command, and then from here it prints out the actual like result of what it is. So if we go back to this, as we can see here, if we do ls, we can see that we have 8 fields, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The word count, this is the empty file. I'm not sure why, how I put that in there. I think I added there by accident. So if we do this and we do the command ls, and we pipe that into the word count program -l, it tells you that there's 8 lines. And if we do word count -help, we can see here, L gives you the lines, C gives you how many characters there is, W gives you the words. So let's say if I ask how many characters there is, I can do -C, and it tells me there's 75 characters in here. So I might be counting blank spaces also. So that's what the command does. But let's say I want to do something else. Let's say I want to do, let's say I want to run the ls command, but I want to sort it, right? So if I run the ls command normal, you can see A, B, F, I. It looks like it's correct, actually. But let's say if I want to sort it, you can use the sort command, even though it's already sorted. And then I can also do reverse. As you can see, it gets the output of this, and then you pipe it into another command, and then that command does the reverse on it. And then let's say I want to do that, but I also want to send it to the number line command. This would actually give it like number lines. So if I do this, it will be backwards. So first it will do ls. The result will be sent to sort.reverse. Sort reverse will reverse it. And then the number line will add the numbers in front of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does that make any sense, anybody? Or any questions about this particular command that you see?
No, I think this one makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. And the reason I ask is because when we move later on in the course, since we went over this and I'm doing some commands, it should be a lot more easier for you to understand a lot of the scripts and stuff that we're going to be doing.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I want to go over this, because just to take any doubt or anything. So like I said, essentially, all you're doing is you're piping into different programs, but remember, some programs work differently. So you might have to input the data differently. Sometimes like the text gets formatted. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the word formatting. So like example, if I run in the ls command, right? And then if I forward it to my file1.txt, and if I do ls, if I do cat on my file1.txt, as you can see, the format is not kept. You see, the format has changed. So this strips all the formatting away. So this is the way it's supposed to look, because that's the output of it. So you have to basically learn how to keep the integrity of the actual format. And I can show you how to do that, because some programs, they output the data differently. Like if you run a program, you can't expect all of them. Most of them are compatible. Some newer programs might not be, might not keep the actual format of how it is. So what we can do is use a -u. So if you do ls-u, not all programs have this, but this one is you do -u, right? If I do ls-l or cat, should use it. Hold on. The -u should be, no, I think that keeps the name in orders. Hold on. Trying to check. But as you can see here, the format wasn't kept. I can do the format long. Let's do the cat, this ls. Actually, not cat ls. Doesn't make any sense. So we do man ls. We can try to see here if there's an option to keep the actual the integrity of it, or like the actual format of it. We can see formats, long, format, C, verbose, across. I don't see it. I remember last time it was here. I just forgot what option it was. But there's an option here. If you guys use it, it should able to keep that same format when we're sending it over to the next one. I know there's some type of way to do it. Do not sort, list entries in order. list entries. I'll have to look that up, how to keep the integrity, but there's a way to keep integrity, but it is important. All right, and the last one we'll go over today will be the man pages. I know I've been using it, but I want to go over it with you guys. Do you guys have time to go over it? Since I know we started the class a little bit late.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. All right. So when we go over the man pages, right, they're called for the manual pages. We have different sections, right? So this section as here, you can see on the top left, we can see that this first section is pretty much for the user commands. So these are user commands. And the reason why this is important is because different sections of the man pages say different things. So like number 2 would be for system calls. And there's other other locations also, but it's important to know because you might be looking for particular things. The first thing you're going to see is the name of the command, which is called list directory contents. That's what the ls stands for. And we get the synopsis. Over here, we can see ls. This is the format of how to use it, right? So over here is the option denoted by the brackets. So bracket just means it's optional. The little 3 dots means that you can put as many options as you want. And then we have the file, which is a parameter, is looking for file. But this is the optional parameter also because denoted by the brackets. If you see the brackets, it just means it's optional. And the 3 dots is like as many files as you want. So reading this command, I can see already that you only can run ls by itself. You don't need any arguments or anything on here to run ls command. All this means is that you can run options if you like. You can run files if you like. This means you can put as many options as you want, and this means you can put as many files as you want. And we can test that out by running ls by itself. As you can see, it runs on its own. And then the first one's options. I can do l-a-h because it lets me do as many options as I want, right? And I'm running it here. As you can see, now it's giving me the hidden files. It's giving me the human readable format, which is the 400 kilobytes you can see here. I can put as many options as I want. If I want to see the inode number, I can do I. Now I'll get the inode numbers of the files. So you get a lot more data because that's what the command says. The first option, as you can see here, these are the options, which are the brackets, which I'm showing you here. I'm just giving you a little highlight. The first bracket was the options. The second bracket is the location. So I want to do etc, right? I want to do /home/test 0, which there's nothing in there, but we'll do /home. So this is just meaning I can do as many files as I want, as many locations as I want. Over here means as many options as I want. So I'm going to delete this because it's not the right way to use it, but this is just to showcase how you can use the command. Right now, I'm running all these flags, these 3 flags, in the etc directory and the home directory. And if I run it, you can see there's 2 separate commands. The first command was ran in the etc directory, right? And then there's about total 1.5 megabytes. And if we go down, there's a separate directory /home, and there's about 8,000 kilobytes on here because I use the H flag. As you can see, I can run this command exactly what it says. If I go to man ls, I can run as many options as I want, and I can run as many files as I want. And just by going back, if I take all these out to make it less, like a lot less verbose information, I can take out the H, and we can see this. It gives me the inode numbers if I like. If I just want the inode numbers, if I just want the file by itself, I just do the file ls. As you can see here, this gives me the file names, etc. There's no options involved. So you can pretty much run the file how you want. And when we're going down here, it gives me the description. List information about files, the current directory by default. Sort entries alphabetically if none of the CTFU, SUX, nor sort is specified. So that means if I do ls, right? If I do ls, it should be run alphabetically, unless I use this option, which is the -- sort. That's what it says in the documentations. So if we look at the man ls and we scroll down here, it says -- sort. So now we want to jump to -- sort to get more details on here.
Prof, what is the inode number?
So the inode number is just like a number that that basically is a unique number given to a directory or to a file. So like if I run ls-i, right, this is the inode number. So this is the location of memory where this file exists. So so these are everything made in your system has different inode numbers, which I'll need to go over the links with you guys. Actually, you know what? We can go over it right now since we're pretty much going over the man pages really quick. So the inode number, like I said, is a distinct number. Yep, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yes, so these inode numbers, they're distinct numbers that are given to files. It's a little bit more advanced to learn, but I can show you because we have to use the link commands. So let me try to do it. All right, so I'm going to do this real quick for you guys so I can show you guys. So the inode number is a unique number. So there's two types of symbols. There's a symbolic symbol, and then there's a hard symbol. That's what they call it in Linux, right? You guys use Windows a lot, right? Or if you guys use Windows in the past, I'm sure you guys have.
Yeah.
I know it's a rhetorical question, but just want to ask just in case. So what a symbolic link is you when you make a shortcut if you make a shortcut of a file and that original file moves, usually the link is broken, right? You try to click the file and what it says, not accessible, it's broken or something weird, right? So that's what a symbolic link is. So a symbolic link is a link to something else that is connected. So if I did this command, so let's do ls. So let's do a link command really quick. So we're going to do a symbolic link. There's going to be S. And I'm going to name the link. We're going to call it, we're going to put it under etc. And we're going to call it a link. This is just something random I just made. Doesn't exist. So file, missing file operand, link, help for more. So I think there's an operand that I have to use. So let's see. Oh, actually it's lowercase s. Yes, there it is. Doesn't make any sense because I didn't even tell it what I wanted to do. Give me 1 second. It doesn't exist. Good. Didn't make it. All right, cool. All right, so we gotta use that lowercase s, and then we're gonna call it actually, it doesn't make sense because we gotta pick what the file. So when we're doing the link command, we're just specifying what we want to copy. We want to copy the link one.txt. We want to make this like a shortcut kind of same thing you have in Windows. So once I do this command, we can do the lowercase s, which is symbolic. And then we're gonna actually name it what we want or the location where we want to put the location. So we're gonna put it under home/tom/file link. And then if I do ls-l, as you can see here, I want to delete that one. Sorry, let's remove that one. Because that doesn't exist anyways. All right. So if we do ls-l, now this file has been copied. It has been copied. So now if we do ls-l under tom, and if we do ls-l, you see here, there's a file called file link, and it points to file one.txt, which is here. So if I cat it out /home/tom/file link, which is called, you see, it says cat/file home/file link, no such file directory. That's interesting. Why is it broken? I think red means broken too. So file link equals file one.txt. Maybe I didn't give it the right. Oh, maybe I didn't give it the absolute path. That could have been it. So let's try that again. Let's try /root. All right, so let's remove this file. Give me 1 second. So we're gonna do this one. Remove file one.txt from the Tom folder. So this is just linking stuff. That's all we're doing. We're gonna remove that. Let's try that again. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna cat the file inside of the Tom user. As you can see, cat, it works, right? And we can see ls-l under /home/tom. As we can see, there's a symbolic link, right? that points to this. Does that make any sense for everyone? Sorry about that. What we're doing, we're basically pointing this file, which is under Tom, and we're pointing it to a file under the root directory named file1.txt. This is the symbolic link. Does that make any sense for everyone? Is there any questions for this particular part before we go to the hard links? And then I can explain the inodes to you.
No questions.
Okay. So if I don't have to do it now, but if this file moves, let's say if I move it to if I move file1.txt to the etc directory, it'll be broken. So as you can see, it's here. We can see file1.txt, but I'm going to move this to another folder. So I'm going to move it to home. I'm going to move it to Leo. So I'm going to move file1.txt. I'm going to move it to Leo/home Leo, which is my bad. And now if I do the same thing I did before, as you can see, it's broken because the file has been moved. Just like in Windows, when you move the original file, it's broken. Now I'm going to move it back. Now I'm going to move it back, and we should be fine. And if I move it back to file1.txt, I'm going to move it back to here. And now if I do ls-l and tom, as you can see, it works. As you can see, when you move files, they're broken, right? And now we're gonna run the symbolic link. What I was going to show you guys, right? The symbolic link, and we're gonna do ls-l on I, and we're gonna do it on the file1.txt. As you can see here, this is the symbolic link for this. And then now we're gonna run the symbolic link for the file1 here. So we're gonna run this file also, and we're gonna run the I command, which is inode, and we're gonna run it on file link. As you can see, the inodes are different, right? You guys, everyone can see the inodes are different on these?
Yeah. You said this is the symbolic link, not the hard link?
This is the symbolic link.
Okay.
Yeah. So symbolic links, the inodes are different. So every time a file is created, there's a number associated with the file for the system to keep track of it. So when you make a symbolic link, as you saw here, right, it just points to another location. So this file points to this file, right? But at the end of the day, if this file moves somewhere else, it will be broken. And the other thing I was going to say is that you see the inode is different, right? So if I delete this link, the symbolic link, it won't delete the original link. It'll still be there. Like it doesn't affect this link at all. Like it's not affected. And if I move this one somewhere else, it's affected. Why? Because this link points to this location. So the bad thing about symbolic links is that if you move the original file, guess what happens? You can't access it anymore, right? It's broken. But if I delete, let me delete this file really quick. We're going to remove this file. Actually, we're going to unlink it. I think you can use the unlink command. Let's try to do that. I think is unlink command. We can try that. Now, if I do under ls/I, hold on. Okay, it looks like it deleted it. Okay, whatever. We'll just remake it. So we'll do ls file1.txt. And the example should be almost done. So we're going to do cat file1.txt so you guys can see what's inside of it. Now we're going to make a hard link. So this will be the hard link. You don't put the S in it. And the hard link will be the file that we have here, which is root file1.txt. And now we're going to link it inside of home/Leo. We're going to put it into his home folder. Root 1, invalid crosslink. What does it say here? Let's see. So for this one, where is it? Hold on. So it doesn't let you do a cross link. Oh, you know why this doesn't work, you guys? Is because hard links don't work if the file is located in a different hard drive, like or in a different memory space. So it's kind of weird. So I can't really do it on this one, I guess. I'll try another one. So it pretty much points to a different location on the disk. That's why it doesn't work. But let me try to do one that's in the same area as me. So let's try to do a slash, instead of slash root, we'll do under slash etc. Okay, cool, it works. The reason why it doesn't work, you guys, is because when your drives, it has different areas. It might be on a different drive because I have like 7 drives. So my root directory is probably on one drive, and then my home and my other user data is on another hard drive. So it doesn't let you hard links doesn't let you cross drives on there. So now that I did that, you guys, okay, if I do ls-l I, as you can see here, file 1, you can see the inode here is ends in 254. And this should be the last thing here. So we do file1.txt. Sorry, hold on. Why isn't it showing here? I don't want to link it. I want to show it, which I'm not doing that, which is my fault. As we can see here, we can see the file in the root is called, you know, the hard link is made, and you can see that the inode number is on 254. And the last one we're going to do the same command, but we're going to run this command and the etc. And as you can see, you see the link number is the exact same. So the difference between a soft link and a hard link is that the hard link has the same memory space. So they both share the same exact thing. So if I delete either file, it doesn't matter because you'll still have a copy of one. With a symbolic link, if I delete the symbolic one, it doesn't really make a difference because it's just a pointer. The symbolic link, all it means is just a link to somewhere. And I'm going to show you the last bit with Paint, and then we should be done for the day and answer any questions or go over anything. Let me just share that screen really quick so I can show you here. Okay, so we're going to go back here and delete everything. All right, so a symbolic link is a file, right, that pretty much points to another file, but it points to this file. That's all that does. And if this file gets moved somewhere else, then it won't, like if this symbolic link moves somebody else, it doesn't work. And the numbers here are different. So let's say if the inode number is 123 and the inode number here is 122, right? So what happens is that this, it will basically, this pointer right here just points to 122. But if it's not in the location where it's supposed to be, it won't work because it's pointing to the location of where it's located. But at the end of the day, the data here is in its own location, own memory location. And if it's a hard link, and let's say that this is 122, right? It doesn't matter where it's located because this is just a copy of this file of 122 of the hard link, of the inode of 122. So put here 122. So let me delete that one. Why did I do that? So let's put 122 here. And then let's say that this is a hard link. This pointed to here. So all this means is that you're basically copying the same inode number and you're putting it to the file that you're referencing. So you're basically making a copy of the actual real file of where the memory is located. So if this gets deleted, this gets deleted, it doesn't matter because you still have a copy. If this gets deleted, it doesn't matter. If this moves somewhere else, it doesn't matter because it's the inode just points to another inode, which is the same exact number. As you can see from the example that I showed you earlier, the two inodes, they match. Like the file 1 for the hard link, you see they have the same exact inode. And if I move, let's say if I move that one, the original one for roots file1.txt, let's say if I move that to the /dev directory, let me do, I'm roots already. Why isn't it moving? So move it as text. I can see why it doesn't move, but let's try to move it to not to the proc, to the user directory. Okay, cool. And if I actually look at the actual file again, ls-l under the etc folder, where is it? If I look here, you see it still exists. Nothing got deleted. So the original one that was in root, right, got moved to the /user folder, but you guys can see that it still exists. If this was a symbolic link, it would be broken and it wouldn't work. So what inode number is at the end of the day, if we do ls, the man-ls page, and we scroll down and we go to the I section here, it says print the index number of each file. So basically, the inode number is basically a unique number that's given to each file that uniquely identifies it and points to address.
Okay.
That's it. So pretty much, like I said, inodes are just used to keep track of the location and the status of files and directories. Pretty much when a file is created on the file system, inode is created to store the metadata about the file. So basically, when the file is deleted, the inode is freed and it can be used for other files. So that's how you identify the numbers or the file's unique attribute of it. And then with the and then with the man pages, that's it. I think we went over it, but we'll use the man ls. As we can see here, we went over everything here, the description. We're looking at the sort, and if we went down here to the sort, as you guys could see here on the sort, we can see down here, you can sort it by different ways, by size, by time, by V, and it tells you here, you do dash dash, and then you use the word. Sort by word instead of name. So that's what it says here. These are the extensions that you can use. So you can use sort by word, you can use -s, you can use, you see, you can use these numbers if you want, or you can use word, the word size, the word time. So all this says that you can sort it by the word, which stands for none, size, time, version, or extension, or you can use the dashes. So let's say if I want to go by, let's say I want to go by size, which is -s, I can do ls-s, and this will sort it by size. As you can see, you see how it sorts it by size. And let's say I want to use the word version, right? Which it gives you the word version. You can do --sort equal size. It does the same exact thing. So,
and is this sorting just for our view, or is this actually sorting the file, if these are files, like the files in the visual space?
You mean standard output?
Yeah.
So when you run this command, it's prints a standard output.
Okay.
Yep. So you see here, I ran the command with a -s, which is size. And then in the manual page, it says you can use the actual word instead of the actual like dash. You can use --sort, and you can do it by size, which is the file size. How much memory is in it? You see?
Yeah.
Yep. And if I go to the ls again, man page, we can see here that says if nothing is specified, then it sorts it like normally. So if I do by default, if I do ls -l, which gives you the size, as you can see, this it's not sorted by size by default. And then by default, it says here, it says less information, the current directory by default sort entries alphabetically. So it does it alphabetically. So if you go here, we can see it's in alphabetical order by default. And if you go to man ls, we can see here is --sort if it's specified. We go down here, we can see here. We can see on the sort, we can see it's by word, right? Sort by word instead of name. Does that make more sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
It's just that the last half hour has been a bit of a blur, but I'll go over the video and go over it. But
okay, yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
So this was just going over the man pages. The question that was asked before was about the inodes. The inodes is just a number that just specifies a file. So each time something is made on the system, it has an inode number associated with it. That's it. It's like something to keep track of. So just like it's like having a file cabinet, and then each time you put someone's file in there, you just have like the location where it's at. Okay, it's in location 1, location 2, location 3, location 4, location 5. And we made some symbolic links to it. The symbolic link just points to the drawer, and then the hard link is just the same exact copy of the actual files. That's all it was. I'll put some more details about the hard link and the soft links in the actual the file, the what do you call it, the OneDrive that we have. shared, I'll put a little article and some more information on there. I'm gonna write it and try to have it explained a little bit better through text. Yeah, and that's it. Did that make any for anybody else? Did you guys follow along with the man pages at all? Like how I got to this point of how I ran this command or this flag, I mean.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna put some of the homework up, which will be going over the man pages and going over some of the group. The group add, user add shouldn't be too hard. That's very, very simple. I'll have some homework pertaining to the groups, users, and maybe add some I'll add some SGID stuff on there just to go over it, maybe some sticky bit on there to go over it, and then I'll add some man pages stuff, and then the links, I'll explain it to you. I'll have the syntax so you guys can type it the correct way, and I'll also have some more information about pertaining to inodes, so I can help fill in that gap for everyone that has some gap in it. And then also same thing with the man pages, go over some of the man pages of how to read it. I'll go over that again in terms of having that laid out for you guys.
Okay, that would be helpful.
Okay. What were the main
Yes, sir.
things? Yeah, so the main things were the inodes, links, and I'm guessing man pages. I'm sure you guys, I'm feeling like everyone's good with the user adding users and like adding groups and deleting users.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that part should be easy. The inode part, I'll have, like I said, a further explanation. I'll have some links and resources so you guys can watch some videos pertaining that. And I'll give you the right resources for that. And with the man pages, we'll go over that again the next class. So that way, slowly start reinforcing on how to read it. You know, when you look at this, it looks really intimidating. It looks confusing. It's like, yo, what's going on here? You know, it's like too much information. But my goal is by the end of the class or by the end of the course, you guys could understand the man pages, which will definitely help you a lot in the field.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I guess I'll let it go. I know the class went a little bit longer. We had a little bit extra things to cover. So the next class, I'm going to be putting up the topic for it and then putting on the homework for day 4. Technically, it will be day 4 of the actual what do you call it? Stuff that we went over. And also we will be putting in the homeworks and stuff like that. And if anyone has questions, like I said, you guys can always direct message me through the week. Like any questions you have, just message me. Like message me on the side, ping me, and I can like help you one-on-one, or I can give you information or whatever you need. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want you guys to be like, when the next class comes, I want you guys, any doubts to be like, you know, corrected. Anything that you don't know, corrected. But like I said, feel free to ask me questions. I would love to help you guys. Don't hesitate. Just you can message me or you can message me in the group. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're comfortable with. And like I said, just please don't hesitate to ask any questions, anything that you might not understand after the homework and after all the links. If you still don't understand, let me know. I can help you and I can still try to guide you and give you examples the best I can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes, no problem. All right, no problem. You guys have a great day. And please, like I said, don't hesitate to ask questions if you need any help for anything, please.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.